Hello maggots. On today's episode of my YouTube series where I forget to actually upload any of the videos I spend time making and recording, we're going to be going back to Marasmus's magical mess hall and baking a medium health pack from Scream Fortress. Now normally I'd say that this is where we start out with the pastry for the pie, but I just feel like I should let you know that my phone decided to hate me that day I recorded it, and it corrupted like half my footage. So if you need a visual aid, please check 2 of my other videos where I make pie crusts. I'll leave them in the description below. One of them's from Adventure Time and the other one's from Undertale. With that out of the way, I want to let my hee homeboys know that I actually managed to make a good dough without a food processor. I know all of you are screaming and crying tears of pure bliss right now. As for how I made it, I did it like this. Get 175 grams of plain flour and 100 grams of butter that's unsalted. If we need it salted, we'll get our salt from the average upward game, but once gathered, please mix it in with your fingers until it looks like breadcrumbs like you're making a crumble. From there, add into the mix 75 grams of icing sugar and an egg yolk with a pinch of salt gathered from a war-pig soldier from PL Upward whose medic girlfriend died. Tummy! From there, mix it in with your hands and get it into a clump of dough. If needed, add a teaspoon of water, however using sparingly. If you use too much, it can ruin the dough completely, but like, we've done this so many times before in the show, I'm sure you know how to do it at this point. Now once you've got the consistency desired, place it on the board and cover with plastic wrap and shove in the fridge for about 30 minutes. While that's chilling, we're going to start cutting up the pumpkin. Now when you go and buy your pumpkin, make sure that it's about half the size of this one. I love how Tesco's doesn't actually put the weight of a pumpkin on it, so I can't actually mention how much to put in, but let's just say a fair amount of pumpkin needs to be put in your pie. If I had to guess, I put about a kilogram in, I think. But yeah, cut it up into parts and toss it into a pot, cover with boiling water and let it simmer for about 25 minutes. From there, drain the pumpkin and leave it for a further 15 minutes to cool. While it does that, take the pastry out of the fridge and groove it into a pie dish. Once it's all molded in, put it in a 180-degree oven for about 30 minutes. So that the base you've created is golden brown. Now, once the crumpkin is cool, use your fist or the back of a spoon to shove solid material through a strainer or a sieve. This is one of the most annoying and actually pretty hard things I've ever done. It's like making bean paste again. But once you've done that, you earn a beautifully orange soup thing. It looks weird. I wouldn't recommend eating this as it is. Now, in a separate bowl, you need to add 160 grams of golden caster sugar, half a teaspoon of salt, and nutmeg, and then 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. In another extra bowl, you want to add 2 whole eggs, 25 grams of melted butter, and 200 milliliters of milk. Mix both of them to combine in the separate bowls, and then add them both into the pumpkin bowl. Then mix that to combine as well to create this weird looking abomination that honestly looks brown. Shove your brown in your golden brown pie dish. And if you want to be extra saucy like your boy Jonesy, you may want to overfill it so it spills out of a pie dish and starts to leak onto the floor. Trust me, I meant to do that. I'm really happy about the time it took for me to clean it up. From here, shove it in the oven at 200 degrees for 10 minutes, and while it's cooking, you can start to make the second layer of the pie, which is the weird happy face thing which you see when you pick it up. Now a normal person would make extra dough for it, however it's also 3 AM when I made, and I also had a test the next day. That was fun. So, if I did actually make extra dough for it, I probably would have broken down and cried. So instead, steal your housemate's pre-made pastry and cut out the face of the boy. Now take your pie out of the oven and reduce the heat to 180 degrees. Then try to figure out how on God's green earth you're going to shove this weird thing over a pie which if you mess up will burn your fingers off. As you can see, I burnt my fingers off when I tried. Finally, you must figure out a way to make the stalk of the pumpkin work. I say you, because I couldn't figure it out. I tried, it didn't work, it just flopped down while cooking, so I had to make a pastry support system to try and support it. It was weird, and it still broke, it didn't work, I just had basically pre-made pastry on the floor and in the oven, which when I opened it up last time, came out. And then when my housemate opened it up 2 days later, more came out. So yeah, don't do that, I have no idea how to make it work. I suppose I'd need like an oven-proof, like, block or something. Or like a pumpkin-shaped pie dish, but I have 30p in my bank account, so I don't think I'm gonna get that one anytime soon. Anyways, bake for 30 more minutes, and boom, you're done, and it looks really good. It actually tastes really good as well. I gave it to like so many of my mates, and they all said it tasted really nice, and I was very happy about it. I've literally never even eaten a pumpkin before, let alone pumpkin pie, and it smelled awful, but it kind of tasted pretty good. I don't know how people do this stuff, but it's nice. I like it. Anyways, whilst I was making this video, your boy Joe Zaga decided to make one on Twitter as well. So I got beaten to making a pumpkin video by someone who's my own student. I love that. I am fearing the deer. Anyway, speaking of pie, this Scream Fortress has awakened one of my favorite things ever. And that's lore and culture in video games with like maps like Los Muertos. So I figured I'd do a new segment where I talk about the lore of the food which I make and the videos which I do. Yeah, you get what I mean? Anyways, I need a new name for this segment, so like, can somebody like give me some help with that? I have no idea what to name it. I need advice, man. I need advice. So yeah, the pumpkin pie is pretty clearly based off of a jack-o'-lantern. Jack-o'-lanterns were originally also known as will-o'-wisps. They were these lights that resemble a lantern over a thick and marshy bog. As described in English folklore, they existed to mislead travellers. That's pretty much the name sorted out. However, the tradition of carving vegetables is a common practice among many areas of the world. However, creating a jack-o'-lantern is believed to originate from Ireland, and was originally done with turnips, not pumpkins. The reason for this is because of the tale of Stingy Jack, a blacksmith who was slothful yet shrewd in his ways. There are many stories about this man. Pretty much all fairy tales that talk about a Jack from places like England or Ireland around this time is said to be the same guy. This includes things like Jack Frost, and I think Jack and Jill as well. However, in this particular story, of which there are so many renditions of, long story short, he meets Satan. How he does depends on the story told. Some say he stole from a village and met him, others say he just found him and tricked him to go up an apple tree. But in every single depiction, he forces the devil to agree to never take his soul. As Jack was not a very nice man during life, when he died, he was barred from heaven. And as the devil agreed to never take his soul, he was barred from hell as well. As a way to mock him, the devil gave him a burning coal, which he placed inside one of his favourite foods, being a turnip, creating a lantern, and he wandered the world for a resting place, forevermore. For the record, the horseless headless horseman who you see in Man Manor, despite having a jack-o'-lantern for a head, is not Stingy Jack. He's based on something else entirely. However, they are kinda confused to be the same person quite a lot. But it's not the same guy. At least I'm pretty sure it's not. Maybe I'll do some more research, I don't know. But yeah, the reason pumpkins are used today and not turnips is because when Irish immigrants moved to the US, they brought the tradition with them. However, they used pumpkins which were native to the area. And as TF2 takes place in America, it would make sense where the health pack is a pumpkin, not a turnip. So yeah, there's some backstory on the dish we just made, tell me what you think, and also go watch these weenies as well, because they're very cool. Yeah, watch Arlo, because he's like, pretty much the only other person I see talk about Pikmin, and I like Pikmin. Like, I pretty much only just found out about his existence, but like, I like Pikmin, and yeah, give his man Pikmin love. Also watch Peanut, he's funny, he has a funny food name, and he also beats up people in Smash Brothers as Lil Mac, who's like fun to play as. Alright, yeah, subscribe on now, bye, see you later.